Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zen Gayfrick here. We're gonna do Pokemon movie 13 review. We kind of did intros, but we're gonna do intros again because why not? KG, how are you doing, sir?
Good, just downloading some apps on the phone.
Yeah, we're gonna have his attention again, aren't we?
Jogar, you lost.
Listen, man, don't
Listen to me.
You're
Listen to me.
addicted, damn it.
Richie's about to get his head tore off. Listen to me. That is not an addiction. I just like girls that look like dragons. What? Never mind. TSS, how are you doing, sir?
Oh fuck.
I'm doing fantastic. You know, aside from stuff, but I'm here today. I want to review this movie because it's it's crazy. I think you're gonna see me in a few minutes talk about it, but very unexpected.
Okay, Richie, how are you, sir?
Since when does a 30-minute TV episode become a movie?
Oh, you bitch. Tyrone,
That's the point.
how are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 here. Everything's not quite what it seems. It's an illusion.
Considering
Congratulations,
No,
you and your puns. You're so
it needs
fucking clever.
It needs diagonal clapping, Jim Carrey.
Oh, I can't do
Right.
that. I don't. My hands only go one direction. God, all right.
The
This
people
is,
can't see
this,
what
is,
your
this
hands
is like
are.
out of sync clapping. Don't do this. And Vanessa, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad. I'm so sorry about that audio issue. I'm glad at least we got that figured out before anything else worse happened.
And this is why we have a pre-show, everyone, so we can fix shit before the main show starts. Although there is no difference in quality. Let's be real here. We just try to fix the
That's
problems
true.
we notice in advance. Anywho, with all that being said, we're gonna talk about. TSS, want to give me the Japanese name of this film?
Oh my god.
Sure, absolutely. It's Pokémon Diamond and Pearl. Nope, sorry. I forgot the Gekijoban. So it's Gekijoban, Pokémon Diamond and Pearl. Genne no Hasha, Zoroark. Or Pocket Monsters Diamond and Pearl, the theatrical presentation, the ruler of illusions, Zoroark.
Okay, that's pretty close. And
Pizza's here.
Pizza's here.
Everybody play the fucking pizza theme
No,
song.
don't do it. Pizza. Jesus Christ.
Pizza time. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
The point I was gonna make is that the Japanese title is pretty. The English dub title is pretty close. It's just Zoroark, Master of Illusions. So at least we have a pretty direct translation there. We take these thumbs up when we can get them. Depending on how this goes, this might be a very controversial review. So I'm gonna start this. Now we're gonna do like quick general thoughts first, like where we sit on the scale of liking or disliking this film. And I'm gonna start with my controversial statement. I think this is the best Diamond and Pearl film. I'm gonna say that right now.
Oh, wow. All right.
Oh,
I did not expect that going into this. I would openly admit this is probably the best Diamond and Pearl film. That's me. KG, where do you sit on the spectrum?
I agree with you as well. I personally
Bias.
believe this movie. Okay, and also just removing the bias of obvious the rule of and all that. I personally believe this out of the entirety of the DP movie franchise, this one's probably the best. And I'll explain more about that actually on when we get into that segment of discussing the movie itself.
Okay, TSS.
I actually agree with both of you. Isn't that a surprise? I actually agree with Terrell for once.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah,
Alright,
because
I'm honestly, I'm
a lot of things.
I'm at a loss for words.
I'll just make it brief. A lot of things surprised me about in this movie, and you're gonna find out shortly.
Okay, Richie.
I liked the movie for what it was, but it's just I guess the recent trend in the movies have kind of influenced my opinion. Plus, to me, as I kind of alluded, this doesn't look any different than as it probably would have if this was a an hour and a half TV special. So, good film, but I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it should have been a film. In other words, like I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying it didn't really feel like much one to me, anyways. But I'll explain later.
Tyrone.
Okay, so watching this again, it's a lot better than what I remember. Is it great? It's a movie, and there's some things that they use that are interesting concepts. I will say this out of the 4 Diamond and Pearl movies we got, this one stands out the most now, and it does earn a title of being noticeably good. But it's so weird. It feels like this one needs to be separated from the others, not just because it doesn't follow the chronological timeline, but because I don't know. There's just something about this one that makes me want to actually go back to it.
And Vanessa.
I actually in agreement for Will Ball. I actually enjoyed it. I was actually surprised too coming in before watching this movie because I actually like the last one. I actually didn't remember as much what happened, and yeah, like when I watched this one, I was like, okay, it was actually better than I thought it would be.
Okay, I kind of did this out of order because I kind of blanked out for a second. But Tyrone, plot summary. Please. Also, thank you for subscribing, Flare Gamer. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that shit in the video. The point is,
all right.
Plot summary, Tyrone. I forgot that should have went first, but it's fine. That means we can kind of get into the conversation right after this. So.
Right. Okay, so for the sake of this one, since we are live this time and we got quite a bit of people here, I'm going to abridge the plot summary this time around. So the plot summary of this movie, movie 13, takes place in an area known as Crown City. Now, Crown City is most notable for having these sport events in the world known as the Bacher Cup. Bacher Cup World Championships takes place in Crown City, and Ash and the others are really excited to go see it. So when they do, however, they do see that there are legendary Pokemon Entei, Raikou, and Suicune that are in the games as well, seem to be trained. But in reality, what it is that pulling the strings is an evil man known as Kodai. So Kodai, 20 years ago, actually met up with the legendary Pokemon Celebi. And because he was exposed to Celebi, he was able to get this gift where it allows him to see into the future. So he gets visions. So he decides to use this as well as his corporate powers in order to basically take control of Crown City financially and media-wise. He kept Zoroark and captured Zoroark so that Zoroark can use its illusionary powers to transform into Entei, Raikou, Suicune, respectively. And then when they attack the city, he can combat them using his own powers. Obviously, this is a scam that's been being pulled for a large amount of time, but one flaw into it is that Zoroark has a baby, Zora, and with the baby Zora, which for some reason is adopted, right?
Wait, what?
I think it's an adopted situation.
No, I don't think that's the case. Why would you
No.
think
Oh,
that?
it's the legit mother?
Yeah.
That's why they're calling Mima.
Japanese is called Ma.
Where the fuck did you get that from?
In English translation, it's a bit weird how they phrase what Zora is to Zoroark. But anyway, long story short, because of this, though, Ash and the others get in contact with Zora, and they end up fighting off against Kodai in order to stop him from trying to take Celebi and take control of its powers so they can rule the city. Even to a point where when they fight him off, they get to where Kodai sees this vision where he actually succeeds, but it turns out to be a false illusion and a false prophet because Ash actually makes it to the real-time Ripple while Dawn and Brock give him buy some time by holding off his lackeys. One of them named Goon, by the way. I want to point out that the lackey's named Goon.
That's gangster as fuck, though.
It is, get my goons. But after that, since after they stop Kodai, Zoroark is free and reunites with Zora. The two ride off into the sunset on a boat, and Ash promises that they'll meet him in the Unova region, basically spoiling that Ash will be in the next region where we get best wishes. So the plot basically ends there.
Is this like the first movie to do that, to reference a new region? What?
I mean, Manaphy, they briefly touch it, but they don't say Sinnoh. They just are like talking about Diamond and Pearl.
Also, in the chat, Kuribito says that Zora actually is adopted. I don't know how.
I figured as much.
How would you? I don't understand how you would figure that out.
I looked at the dub and then I looked up some information prior to the review.
Yeah, it's actually on Bulbapedia. That's what it says. It's the adopted child of Zoroark.
Oh, okay, so I was right.
I don't know how you would.
I'm going to debate on that because there's some of their stuff.
Because I saw the Japanese version. I hear you even say "ma," and I was kind of understanding.
In the English
Yeah.
dub, he says Mima, which is
Mima.
pretty
Okay.
pretty close. I don't know how you would have thought it was adopted, but all right. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really.
It could be also just a script change, just because the dub can do.
Yeah,
script
it might be
change.
a script change.
I don't remember them saying it in the dub though. I watched the dub.
And I don't
Right.
even remember saying it in the Japanese version either. It's just Ma.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter really much. I'm just saying that is a thing that is happening. So the way we're gonna address this is, I think, the most important thing, because to me, this film reminds me of the Shaman film in some ways, because of the way it's But here's the thing, and this is why I said this is the part we need to address first, and that is our Pokemon. Technically, we have a bunch here, but the one we're gonna focus on is Zora, because I think that's part of the reason why I like this film, is because of how this thing is portrayed. This is how you make a fucking, not a shady, like a kind of dickish character likable. At least that's my thought process.
Yeah.
Because he still fucks around, but he has moments where he shows that he's a good fucking little boy. And I can respect that. It also, because some of the scenes of him crying out for his mother throughout, or I guess his adopted mother.
He's like a shaman plus, like a shaman improved.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, he's not annoying.
Right.
He doesn't.
Well,
he
yeah,
doesn't have an annoying voice.
he does annoying stuff, but he's not annoying.
No, I didn't feel like it.
Wait, go ahead, Vanessa.
No, I was like, I didn't feel like Zora was that annoying at all either. He was
Yeah, I mean, there's trickery, but that's a part of his whole,
Well,
you know.
like a
gimmick.
prankster, right?
Yeah, he's a prankster.
Yeah, and that's like, I think that's probably his species anyways. Like they're usually like that.
Yeah, fooling people.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything too ridiculous. I mean, he has his dickish moments, like in the beginning of the movie, when he's what was it, a Skiploom, and he ends up falling on a Vigoroth and ticking them off. Like, yeah, you're kind of a dick, but he's like, oh, I guess we can be friends. Like right after Ash and them help him out. Like, he has his moments, but I can appreciate him because he's not always an asshole. Whereas to me, Shaman was like 90% of the time was
Just an asshole.
Yeah, just always a fucking asshole.
And also, Zora didn't have a freaking annoying tick at the end of his phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the tick that Shaman had? I don't even remember.
Like Desho, and then the flying the other form was Desu.
Oh, because in the dub they didn't do it as much.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's why I don't like the Shaman movie much, because of the annoying vocal tick.
Yeah.
But I know our resident Zora fanboy has some words for Mrs. Zora.
Yeah, let the man speak.
Do you want to
yes,
talk about
Mr. Zora?
What should I add to what you guys haven't already added? No.
Well,
we have an opinion, right?
I'm almost expecting him to like throw a plushie through the damn Discord chat. Like,
exactly.
Look how cute he is.
I'm surprised we're not having
Look how fucking cute he is.
Kawaii moments.
Oh, he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll try to restrain myself from doing that. I'm gonna try to be as professional as possible, talking about this cute little fox of mine. He's so fucking adorable. Good. Okay, seriously though. Oh my god, I really love this movie. This is where it introduced me to one of my favorite Pokemon within the entirety of the Pokemon franchise, the little cute fox right there. Speaking about its personality within the film, as you guys mentioned, regarding, well, its overall character, its progression and development that it received in this movie, as well as the just the dynamic it has with the cast, is some of the most fun I've seen within the DP film. Like, perfect example is normally the moment when Zorua turned into Dawn, and how it still had the tail attached to it, and all the other characters were just kind of like completely questioning as to why the hell this is happening every single time that transformation were to occur. One of the characters would always just grab Zorua by the tail, which would just instantly transform it back, and then Zorua would always just leave off with just a simple giggle when that happened as well. It's that dynamic that I really like from this cast. And as you mentioned with Shaman just felt like a dick throughout the entire film, whereas Zora, it was still being that kind of sly fox in a way, throwing some jabs here and there and whatnot, but still respecting the crew that Zorua is with at that moment. You know, they share their moments together.
Like Shaman had a level of restraint.
Shaman gave two shits about them, man.
Shaman. I'm sorry, Zora. Zora had a level of restraint. It knew when to back off.
Yeah, like it understood the situation. Like it's a refined Shaman. Like this is what Shaman should have been like in its film. Except, of course, obviously we got it for the superior Zorua here. So I'm overall happy with how they handled Zorua within the film. Zoroark as well. I love the whole theming about how it's an escort mission where they're trying to bring the Zorua back to its mother, whether adopted or not. That doesn't really affect the film entirely, to be honest. It just adds something extra, I guess. And yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun with it. The characters were great this time around. I felt everybody felt equal this time around, except for some reason Brock, I think, was not really doing much here. Well, at the very end of the film, anyway. And it kind of bummed me out for that bit because I was kind of expecting a little bit more from Brock, given that this is his last film, technically.
This is his and Don's last film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Don, no, because Don already, we know he's gonna be.
Don
fine.
is dead. We knew this.
Yeah, but Brock, at that time, I'm like,
if you're gonna die. You need to go out like a bang, man. What's going on?
Yeah, at least. And I mean, they had a nice last final conversation with Ash at like the very midway point of the film. The one that Sergi always keeps bringing up every single time when they're like in the sewers and they're just running away from something. Like they had like a small conversation there. That's the last time they ever talked with each other within that film. So that was like halfway within the film. So just keep that in mind.
I believe Brock had a small scene with Sudowoodo, I believe. Sudowoodo and Happini.
No,
Yeah.
Sudowoodo and Krogan.
Yeah.
They're fighting the Scizor. They're fighting the Scizor.
Yeah, they fight Scizor.
It actually was pretty well animated.
Yeah, this entire film felt really well animated. And I guess one of the other things I should really bring up as well as regards to why I like this film more than the other three. And that's only because of the fact that the other three...
Why.
No, the Darkrai movie, despite its ending, was still likable. The issue comes in the form that those three films are connected. Whereas this one is its own singular film that you can watch it as is without having to really care about any of the other past films to get the full experience.
I can agree, but they're very loosely connected to where I don't think it's that much of a big deal. Also, his people in the chat are like freaking Tyrone. Like,
yeah, I don't know what I did. I'm not sure. I think it's just like for laughs.
Kate just been over here talking, and then all of a sudden I just see in the chat, freaking Tyrone. I'm like, dude,
like, I don't
damn
know,
it, Tyrone! Every single time, whatever be the commentaries for Crystal
I think honestly the Crystal stuff is
damn.
The Crystal stuff is literally bled into all aspects of your online presence, Tyrone.
Which sucks, because that means I get the raw deal no matter what I do.
And this is why
can't wait for when that intro commentary
for 10 minutes and you'll be just fine.
Like if I were a more depressing person, this would go into a very terrible route.
Oh no, we don't need to do that. It's Friday.
Yeah, we don't need that, Tyrone.
It's Friday.
God damn it, Tyrone! Why you make everything so depressing?
One person is
now?
bad enough.
I was like, dang. Come
on, it's the weekend. It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Friday.
Go ahead, KG.
And that's really it for my thoughts on the film. Overall, I had a blast with this one. Like I mentioned, I'm able to watch this film on its own. It introduced a lot of fun characters as well. The villain this time around,
that's what I want to talk about next, and I kind of want to make this a free form. I want to make this a free form discussion because we do the structure, and I like the structure, but we're on stream and we're gonna get interrupted by chimes and shit and people chatting anyway. So free form works better. Let's talk about this villain.
What was his name again?
Koga.
You know, this guy kind of reminds me of movie 2. This whole plot thing kind of has like movie 2 vibes.
I think he's one of our better villains. I'll say that.
He's definitely a step up from the other. Yeah, he's definitely a step up from the other human villains we've gotten introduced to since.
What was the last good human villain we've had?
Movie 2.
Movie two.
Movie 2.
Was it?
It's Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence the Third.
We don't count
That's
movies,
a lot.
so we don't count movie 6 and 3's villains.
No, because they
No.
suck.
Trash.
I can't even remember
Trash.
movie 6. Who was movie 6's villain?
Butler?
Right on.
Okay, see, here's Molly. In Molly's defense, you can't get on Molly like the others. Molly's in a whole
Movie
different
6 is
category.
Besides, it was mainly focused on Entei for that one, since Entei was
Yeah.
the one responsible.
about,
for
Molly's not really a villain in the traditional sense. She just was a kid. I can't put her on the same standards as
What
the
about
others.
Butler?
Trash.
Oh, so y'all hated.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as.
I mean, I'm not saying he was good.
Unnecessary.
So the
His,
last,
his plan didn't make any sense to me, like for what
Yeah,
he
I don't.
really? Jesus.
yeah, like when you
guys.
want it.
Yeah, don't even get me started on Zero.
Well,
Well,
go
we don't-
ahead.
we
Nessa.
don't-
What did like?
You know what?
What?
Well, she was. I saw her going into depth with it, and that she reeled back.
Yep.
It's fine.
I'm looking at Gring's Kodai
This is what happens.
Yu-Gi-Oh
And this is
series.
what happens when your hook breaks off your line.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
all
think.
good,
Because
Well,
we don't
what
have
I-
a lot. We don't have a lot of.
You guys know not to get me for my birthday.
All right,
Okay.
folks. We need donations.
Well,
Vanessa
let me
needs stuff for her birthday.
let me say this about Kodai. As a villain, I believe he is interesting, and for two reasons. One, I like the idea they're trying to go with like a corporate business shark, hence why his head looks like a Sharpedo.
Oh shit! I
going
never
for the-
noticed that. Yo.
Yeah,
Suddenly, he's my favorite villain now. Never mind.
Uh-oh.
yeah. They're going for it because this is a villain that Ash and the others haven't really faced before. This guy has control of basically the entire city. He owns the media. He's one of those I'm so rich, even if you tried to get me in trouble, you couldn't. And I like that idea because it presents our heroes with the situation of how are we going to combat somebody who literally has control of everything.
And not to
And I
mention that
like-
he has the problem, and not to mention that he has the power to look into the future. So that's even
Yeah,
more of a
Yeah,
handicap.
I was just about to get it. Yeah, I was just about to get into that too. Since he can look into the future, he essentially has control of everything that is currently happening and everything that's going to happen. And he's been using his manipulation powers for evil for so long that the city's just sort of used to it. It's kind of odd, actually. It's like he made his own utopia unintentionally.
And remember,
But it's-
the other thing that makes him interesting, he's voiced by Goku.
Oh yeah, Sean Shenmue.
Some
Yeah,
people
just
didn't.
one.
Some people
I
didn't
just
know
wondering
that.
about something.
Thank you in the chat, British Pokemon 27. Wait a minute, that's not all right. Never mind. One of the, but yeah, I find him the most entertaining. Also because he's the one who's I never feel like he does something stupid in the context of the plot. Like he's pretty much
Right.
on the ball the whole time. The only reason why he gets screwed is because of the Zoroark. He got overconfident. Zoroark had broke his illusion breaking chain, and
Right.
Zoroark had trapped him in an illusion and he didn't realize. That to me, if he's gonna lose, that's the way you lose. When you get cheated, not because I'm a villain, so by default I have to lose.
I also like this one because he is unnaturally like violent, like for most Pokemon villains at least. He's really violent,
Yeah.
which is good.
Can we just talk about the fact that he strangles a Celebi in here?
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
He don't give
I
a
think
fuck.
that's good though. I think that's good though because he's a villain. I'm supposed to
Yeah,
hate
but-
him,
but I was
and
like-
I have a reason to hate him.
Oh, dude! By the end of the film, I think it was the first time in a while. I really wish Ash had like a Shonen Jump moment where he jumped
And just
up.
knocked him.
Yeah, just jumped up and decked him in the face. Because I was like, "You piece of shit!"
And it wouldn't be unnatural too because this is the same guy who tried to punch Mewtwo. Like,
Yeah.
And he did hit Faba in the Sun and Moon anime, so
Oh, did he?
yeah.
he decked him.
Oh, I want to hit in the
Punch
backhand.
the crap out of him.
I want to
Oh,
hit.
I think he tackled him, didn't he?
Yeah, but hit him in the gut, I believe. Is when
Yeah,
he
he
was
tackled him in the gut. So
We
I
approve
wouldn't be
of violence,
surprised if he had
kids.
just. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he had decked him. But yeah, this guy is so violent, it makes me want to hate him, which makes for a good villain. Like, he's everything that you hate about a business tycoon.
Yeah, to me, those were like the two selling points for this film. I really appreciate the emotional connection I ended up getting with Zora and Zoroark because you could feel it in certain sequences where it's like you could see he's having like PTSD. He misses Zoroark bad. So where Selby has to create those vines in the tree to simulate like the fur that he used to sleep in when they were together. Like, I appreciate
Little
it.
details.
It's a lot of detail, and it also means more when you get to later on in the film, in the scene where fucking Kodai shocks the shit out of Zoroark again. Pretty much, do we count her dying in this film, even though she's healed later on? Do we count that as a death?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah. Essentially, him killing her towards the end of the film, that shit fucked me up, because I was like, they had just got back together, and you killed her in front of him. How dare you? You fucking garbage ass human being.
I like it.
I appreciate that. That being said, I do want to address something that Richie mentioned in his part, and I'm gonna give him a chance to talk about it. Richie, you mentioned how you think this film kind of feels like an overblown special in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to elaborate on why you feel this way?
I don't know. It's really tough because it's like I'm not trying to discredit for how good the movie is in certain areas, as we were just talking about, but I don't know. My viewing experience just leaves me with the fact that I'm watching a hour-and-a-half TV special. Not because it's not connected to the prior first 3 films, but like I would say it's more so of how it's set up, how the plot is. To me, the plot reminds me of some shit that I would just get from a TV episode rather than a movie scale.
I will say, like, I can kind of see Richie's perspective only because they did do this similarly in the Lugia stuff way back in Johto. But it wasn't as severe and it wasn't as in-depth. But there was a guy who kidnapped Lugia, remember? And he had Lugia had the baby Lugia. And yeah, so it kind of is like that in its perspective, which coincidentally, I think that was a 3-part special.
Was that the one that Team Rocket that worked with Team Rocket?
It wasn't a special, but it wasn't a special.
Wasn't Richie
well,
in that?
like, you know what I mean. It was a 3-part episode.
Wasn't Richie in that arc?
Yes, he
Ash,
was.
Yeah, because Ash had the silver wing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not our Richie,
similar.
another Richie, no relation.
Yeah. It's similar. I get where Richie's coming from. I will say this did everything a lot better and made it more.
Oh no, absolutely,
complete.
I agree.
I think the reason why that argument even came up, and I can understand Richie's point, is also because it's considering we've been dealing with gods and masters of time and space and shit. This is a pretty low. This is like a small scale. Like literally, the worst thing that's going to happen if Kodai gets his way is that he will fuck up that town again. Which, as it's been shown, they can fix that town over time, like they did the first time. It's kind of a smaller scale film, and that kind of takes away from its movie impact because most of the
world isn't gonna disintegrate like in the other ones.
In most Pokemon films, especially the ones we've been watching recently, have all been pretty high tier. Like if we don't stop this, people are going to die, kind of thing.
They're gonna be ripped off time and space or some kind of stuff like that.
Right, like the world is gonna disintegrate to nothingness if we don't stop this.
And I think another thing to add to this too is that Ash and friends, they're all maxed out with their team. I mean, you got friggin' Torterra, Infernape, all these like heavy hitters. They're stacked. They're good.
They're all fully evolved.
They don't use them that much they use them more frequently in the film, but they're
see, if they used them, then the movie would have already been over by 20 minutes. Then
that's true. Yeah, and that's kind of its downside, actually.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like this film should have taken place prior to one of the movies, whether it be this Arceus movie or something. I felt like had this movie been introduced either like early halfway or in the next generation, I felt that would have made more of an impact because that point, Ash and the team, they're not exactly loaded with Pokemon that are exactly, because they're just going up against a villain when they have Pokemons that go insane like Infernape or Staraptor, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
to the very least, KG. Like I feel like if they're gonna introduce Entei, Raikou, and Suicune anyway, then I think Ash should have taken some initiative to fight one of the legendary beasts, but I don't think they really compliment on that enough.
Also,
that's another thing too.
Also, not to mention that the Raikou, Suicune, and Entei are different colors.
Yeah,
Shinies!
Shinies.
Where?
Is this the first time we've seen the shinies in a film?
Yeah, in a film, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the film.
I know we've
But
seen
that's the
shinies
gimmick.
in the anime before, but
Yeah. That's the gimmick. It's so weird too because the reason it's the gimmick is because I believe around when this movie came out,
Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver were doing a special where they would give away Entei, Raikou, and Suicune to people who show up at I think it was GameStop or Toys R Us or one of them, and they would give you an exclusive shiny legendary beast on a specific day. So it was to promote that.
ironically enough, I think we still need. I think Tyrone brought this up like movies ago. Actually, ironically enough, I think he brought it up last in the Arceus movie. Why are we getting another film where you have downplayed the shit out of a legendary again? The fuck is Celebi is weak as shit in this film.
Yeah, which is sad because this is Celebi's second debut too.
And he's not even the focus. Well, it's weird. I guess he's not the movie title Pokemon, but he's still he's very plot relevant. And every time he gets into a fight, he gets caught by a psychic multiple times in this film by a Pokemon that I know stat-wise is weaker than it. Why is he so downplayed here?
It would have made more sense had they mentioned if the Pokemon was like a newborn or like something that just
or
came
something.
to be.
Yeah.
To
Because he got
clarify
the
it, but they didn't.
Yeah, Celebi got the Mew treatment.
Now, at least Mew was still able to hold on its own, like in the Lucario film.
I
You know what
was
mean?
I was wondering if Celebi's already in a weakened state because it didn't find the time ripple yet at that time, and then before when he finally spawned a time ripple, then he kind of recovered, and then he was able to help heal Zoroark at
Yeah,
the
because
end.
remember, he was pretty much dead at the 20-year mark. So
Yeah.
So I wondered as he was already in a weakened state.
he had to sacrifice himself to save the entire city.
Mm-hmm.
So that was where all the energy went.
Yeah.
You have to look at it from that perspective.
I guess
The other thing I want to mention too is the way they integrated Cerebi into this plot. It actually made a lot of sense considering that you have all of these Pokemon. We had if you think about it, there were 5 or 6 Pokemon that were all focused Pokemon in this movie, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. You had Cerebi, you had 3 legendary dogs, you had freaking Zoroark. So you had all of them, and they were all focused. So for that cluster combination, they actually did a really good job in reining in the plot. And there wasn't too much. And there wasn't too much filler. And also, they didn't freaking waste 35 minutes before going into the damn plot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
will say
straight into it. 5 minutes,
This
5
one-
minutes.
I was
into
gonna
it.
say this is the best way to handle multiple legendaries in one movie.
Oh yeah, real quick, I was gonna ask. In the Japanese version, do they do the whole world of Pokemon thing? Because they don't do it.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
they did.
yes, they did.
They just skipped it in the dub then, because the dub
They
didn't-
did.
Oh.
They skipped it
It was
in the
actually
dub.
really short. It was really
I'd be
short,
some bitch
actually,
as it was.
than normal.
Cause I just watched it straight and I was like, damn, where's the beginning? Just felt really quick to me. To be fair, I think it works out in this film's favor.
It just went to the title intro.
Yeah,
That's
it went to the title intro. I was like, damn, did I miss the first minute or so? What happened?
Well, that means they cut it out. The Japanese one didn't.
Yeah, the Japanese did though.
I got a question for who
Because they actually showed Kenta, the gold protagonist. Sorry, not gold crystal protagonist. They actually
Really?
showed Kenta from the Hoso, from the specials.
Oh well.
What was
then.
your question?
How she was
Russell?
battling him.
Oh, sorry. For the dub version, did they also show the Bakker part of it too in the beginning before they went to Crown City?
Yeah, they showed the Bakker games.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
but
did?
they show
Okay.
the battle. They did show the
Yeah,
battle before.
because I believe
Wait.
Elekid, Electabuzz, and Electrovire are on one team, and
I don't
okay.
remember seeing that in the
That was-
dub.
The reason I asked that because when I was following this movie, I followed the Japanese version, but I didn't have any subtitles. And then on the script, I actually found a script online that had all the dialogue, and they started only right after the Pokemon, the Bakker, and the World Pokemon. That's why I was curious.
Well, yeah, but the sequence before during the World of Pokemon, that's when Satoshi fights with Kenta. from the
Okay, so
from
that's
the
why I
host,
missed
from the
it, 'cause-
Vico one.
Okay.
That's why I missed it. I didn't see it in the. I think the version of the dub I looked at was literally them ripping it from the TV when it aired on television.
So you
That's-
got a very cut version.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, I
was-
would assume that maybe the original release would probably have it.
Yeah, it looks like some people.
If I
yeah,
had watched
got
it on
off
fucking DVD
because-
like a smart person, that's what it is.
That's how it was with me with the Arceus
Mhm.
movie. I had
You watch it on DVD.
version.
DVD.
Because I went through the sequence going, what the fuck is Barker? And I'm like, oh, because I didn't see the sequence in the beginning. I never knew. That was
That's
the
like the
only time.
whole reason they show up.
Yeah, so I knew that was
Actually,
the,
that concept was underutilized. I would argue.
Yeah.
Hey, it might be
Yeah,
coming back in the
yeah.
Galar region.
I mean,
God.
it's like,
dude, you know how many moments I had in this film going like, damn, like even the area, even the Crown City itself. I was like, why does this remind me of Gen 8 so goddamn much?
It remind me of a gen that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It was almost like
years
predestination or
before,
some shit.
mind you.
I'm actually
Yeah.
wondering who's gonna bring that back now, like because now they're trying to introduce the sports into the game.
Good.
Right.
They should.
God, that's
this shit
such
was
a weird,
underutilized in the
that's
film.
such a weird timing. That of course we would watch this film after the announcement.
Well, you know,
of Gen 8.
with all the freaking Gen 4 remake things, it kind of makes sense now, guys.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
mentioned in the chat too. Jesus
It all
Christ.
comes together.
It's
You know,
just-
I was mentioning this, and given the movie that we're seeing with this sort of sports team, in one of my discussions I had for the Sword and Shield game / anime, I mentioned how I would really love to see teamwork be an emphasis on the sports team aspect within Gen 8 if they are going to go that route. And then after seeing this film, I'm like, see, this right here, this is that shit I want to see in Gen 8. Because I love how that shit was utilized within the movie. It felt really natural to, well, the overall theming of just having all the Pokemon work together side by side, etc. So it just felt like, just as you mentioned, Terrell, just a major coincidence of how we are now discussing this film after just witnessing Gen 8's reveal for the first time.
yeah.
That makes so much sense. I actually
Yeah.
wondering too from Gen 5. Like I was wondering they were trying to incorporate sports too, but they really didn't.
Well, they kind of did because you had the stadium, but they didn't. But you actually just faced the trainers. You didn't actually participate in
Yeah.
any sports.
That's why I was so disappointed when I found out about that you don't get to do the sports or something like that.
A wild mother appeared.
Oh no.
Got a cameo.
Yeah, they thought my mom walked in and I literally was quiet because I knew.
Hi, Mom.
Because I knew if I had said
Oh, my mom came.
if I had said anything.
That means you have to give her 15 cents now.
No, yeah, people have to subscribe for me to make any money. Tiz. I don't get money from follows. All right.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah,
The
she's
two
go- she's gone.
subscribers might
She's
be
gone.
4 bucks each.
It's almost
The-
like it's
The
almost
insane
like
game, Mom.
it's almost like clockwork. Literally every time I stream, she shows up in one way or another, and it's like, are you plotting against me? Is this what it is? Do you want your
Nah, she's trying to get that collab working.
No, she's trying to. She's plotting against me. It's all a conspiracy.
Remember back when you did that video where you explained anime to yourself? Now make another one, but you would just explain what anime is to your mother. This is your
Nah,
reaction.
y'all would have way more of a ball with that than I would. I would be frustrated. The whole
That would be
fucking
great.
It's a terrible. It would be a terrible
I feel like
experience.
my mom too.
It's
Forget
not-
it.
Yeah.
To me,
Same,
it's,
yeah,
it's
not
not
happening.
It's not worth it. I'll put it that way. You got those moms that are just stuck in their ways and don't really give a fuck. That's my mom. Just
Oh.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's my-
oh, you're
that's
watching.
mine too.
Oh, you're watching that Pokemon again, Mom. This is Dragon Ball Z. Oh,
Well,
that
at least-
Pokemon.
Yeah, you said this before.
Hey,
You
at
said
least,
this
at
before.
least your mother pronounces the franchise correctly.
Yeah, she does, because I've seen people do that whole Pokemans and shit.
Like my mom.
Pokemon.
Oh, that's my sister. How she pronounces that Pokemon.
Some people do that.
Well, I
out of
mean,
spite.
it's kind of our fault that we
Pokemon.
also do that too, though. We also at some point say Pokemon,
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah,
they
but-
hear.
yeah,
We
it.
but
like
it's
to
like-
meme shit. That's why.
Yeah, but they don't know shit about memes.
It's
Are
called a
these
meme.
Pikachus?
No,
They
no,
think what we're saying is
no,
real.
KG. It's not a
Yeah.
meme. It's a meme. That's what it is.
I'm sorry. Oh, man,
Meme.
I love memes.
I love it because like my
Man,
mother
man.
actually
Watch
does
me
say
whip.
that memes.
Watch me, meme.
I want memes.
Watch me whip. Watch me, meme.
We have.
Watch me, memes.
All right, relax, Tyro. You've had he's
He's
had his sugar tonight, folks. Don't pay him any attention. Lord Almighty.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't have any issues with the. I was gonna say the next week probably really addresses the plot. I don't have any issues with how everything kind of turned out for the most part.
Nah.
I think
nah.
the
The
only
pacing was actually pretty good.
Me.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
wasn't too much. There wasn't too much in terms of filler. The filler actually really connected because you could really feel that almost all the filler sequences actually were relevant to the plot, which is
Yeah,
very
like
rare.
there's little things like when Zora is running and Piplup and Pikachu are following it. You get your cute Pokemon moment, but it leads to the next location, so it works.
Yeah, it's a properly done bridge segment as opposed to just
Yeah.
we just want to kill some time because we can.
Oh, so
Right,
I
we're
know I
not just
do.
gonna have.
I'm gonna slightly complain about one thing that I find annoying and it's not really the plot. More so, it's what a particular Pokemon keeps fucking doing in the plot. What is up with Piplup's weird gag where it keeps running and then slamming into a tree? It happens like two or three times.
Because it has to be you because it's the useless character.
It's
Yeah,
it's literally
Good
like,
laugh.
hey guys, look at me. I care. I'm cute. You see me? I'm over here.
Or I don't want to climb a freaking
It's
tree
that.
with his wings.
I'm a penguin.
Yeah.
Look at my penguin arms. Aren't I adorable? Shut the fuck up, Piplup. I don't like that bird.
Penguin abuse.
Slapstick.
I don't like
slapstick for the sake of slapstick.
But it's the same gag. He does it with 2 or 3 times where he just runs and he smacks the tree and he rolls around and he's like, I'm here too. And it's like, you got dirt on your face. Clean yourself off. I'm here too.
Right.
I'm sick of your shit. I hate you.
Yeah, we get it, Pitlup. We get it.
We're talking about
We
a
get it,
Pokemon
you're
that
more.
continuously gets hit by Draco Meteor. It's just funny for the sake of funny.
Well, yeah, because it has to be done because there's no Draco Meteor in this movie, so.
Right.
So I don't think Gabo had a huge part, anyways.
Pochama is nice because that's freaking I almost said Etsuko-san. Etsuko-san did the voice for that.
Also, side
Yeah.
note, Lightning in the chat, Pochama and Piplup are the same character. You can't say one's better than the other.
The voice. voice.
Oh, well, he wasn't specific in the chat.
He didn't elaborate.
You gave him an out. He didn't have that shit before.
Boo.
He could have just been saying shit because he's trying to be controversial. I'm not taking that. I'm calling you out.
Calling you out,
Elaborate.
Lightning.
Damn.
Please deposit 25 cents for the
20
next 4 minutes.
I need
Oh, no.
$1 trillion. For what? I'm poor. What do you think?
Now, Terrell, and I was just gonna address this real fast, and I don't know if you guys remember this too.
What?
There is one thing I've always raised an eyebrow about, and
Not
it's
both of them,
the
though.
trailer. Nah, not both, just one.
Which is funny because
It's the trailer.
Dedenne has no eyebrows. I just realized that.
It's the trailer for this movie where Ash had like a dark version of himself.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, but
you
that
Was
was
that
crap.
this film?
Yeah, that
It
was
was
in the
a-
teaser
yeah,
trailer,
It
or
was
one
a
of the
teaser
trailers.
trailer, so
But
it
again-
never happened.
Yeah, but again, it all comes down to the fact that trailers always show stuff that is on the cutting room floor, like movie
Right.
7's trailer.
Or
Yeah,
movie fucking Hoopas.
Oh
Movie
my
fucking
god,
Hoopers.
we
Movie
don't talk
7
about that.
Charizard.
So
Listen,
the reason I brought that up.
No, actually, never mind.
Okay, so the reason I brought that trailer up is because do you think this movie could have had any more hidden potential and just sort of held back, or do you think that what their original script was probably going to be worse than what was written and
Okay,
revised?
I would say any more would have been bloated.
I think the film would have gone worse because here's the
Yeah.
thing: the whole point of this film is to look for the mother. If that's Zoroark, the one that's responsible for becoming that evil-looking Ash, then what's the whole point of trying to locate the mother? It's like, oh look, right here, we found him, guys,
Yeah.
and
Mom!
the movie's over. Yeah,
So
why are you
the
doing
idea-
this, Mom?
I'm
what
guessing
the fuck you doing?
the idea was probably good in theory. Go
It's
ahead,
good
Ness,
in
I'm
theory,
sorry.
but when the execution, it's not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might
The
have
problem
changed.
is when you do too much, it becomes shit.
Right. Hooper.
Yes.
I got a question regarding about the teasing trailers. Is that something just Japan does? Because I know in America they don't do they don't tease like that. That's not-
Sometimes America does it, but it's very few in between.
Yeah.
The one I can remember the last time was Celebi's. Not Celebi's. I'm sorry. Unknowns movie, where they had like those super 3D unknowns that looked like they were
Oh,
some.
That's,
You know what I'm
that's when they
talking about.
made money
speaking
in
of
the
3D,
States.
speaking of CG,
Oh yeah.
CG fucking agahantos or beautiflies. That scene, oh my god, that was amazing.
That was CG.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yep,
didn't even notice.
that was
you could
CG.
tell by the
I thought
movement
you
of
were
their
talking. I
wings.
thought you were talking about the sequences in which Zoroark turns into the legendaries and is running around town, and you can tell some of them.
that's
That's
regular.
typical.
That's typical. But when they're in the forest, they see a whole bunch of agahanto beautifly coming through. That's all CG. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Terrell, like it's so good you didn't even realize that it
I
was
didn't. Yeah,
actually
I'll be
all.
honest with you. That's not the CG I thought he was
I
talking
didn't
about.
even. Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, but
I
now
don't
that you know it, you'll notice it the next time you watch it when we do this
Yeah.
review again 10 years from now.
Huh.
10 years from now.
10 years from now, I might be dead by then. Jesus.
Whoa.
I'm so
whoa.
sorry.
Well,
man. I
that's
didn't know you.
depressing. That makes me sad.
Leave one like, everybody.
It's
Oh wait,
okay to
wrong
feel
streaming
F
site.
in the
It's
chat.
okay
F
to
in the
feel
chat.
sad sometimes.
Shut the fuck up.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, I know.
The
we can talk-
OST.
Yeah, about to say that's the other thing. So the OST goes to TSS. Yeah, I feel like
So,
that's a little better
once
in my
again-
mind.
So once again, we go back to no opening song.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
weird.
Just the Pokemon theme, which is weird.
Although it's in the music collection, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
yeah, but it never made it to the movie.
Oh, I
Yeah,
do like.
I'm just saying it's in the OST collection. It's just for some reason.
So I know I do like the fact that
nowhere
they
in the film.
reused they brought back Celebi's theme from
Yes.
movie 4.
Did they remix
Yeah.
it though?
They remixed it.
Yeah, it's different. It sounds
Cool.
different.
Oh.
What was
Yep.
it? Selby's blessing or something?
Well, you gotta have Celebi's theme, right? But so for the ending, you have Schema Switch, Ice Cream
Dude,
Syndrome.
one of my favorite.
It's actually it's a very good ending. The only thing is, of course, it gets lost in translation because you have the rockets with the ice cream, and the dub people are gonna be thinking, "What the fuck is they doing with the ice cream?" But that's because ice cream syndrome.
Yeah.
Right.
I just
But
have
also
to
the timing as well, and the ending animation is really good too. So.
Look at you go.
But Miyazaki did okay in this movie. Once again, the background tracks are subtle and not really out front. Like I said, the last movie that it was out front was movie 5. But again, decent performance by Miyazaki here. But ending theme, real good. I think it's one of the best ones from DP era.
I would put it like top 5 best endings within the series of Pokemon. To be honest.
God damn.
Yeah, it's definitely on like a top 8 for me.
Yeah, it's just I think what made this work for me so much is because I think this was like one of my first Pokemon movie theme songs I heard in Japanese, and also I guess as time passed on, I became a big fan of Tsukima Switch. I mean, they were the ones who did the Naruto film. What was it? The Last? I think it was called Naruto the Last. They did the movie theme for that one, and that
Yeah,
song
they
was
did.
fun.
They did.
Well, I've known about Schema Switch since like 2007 when I first saw them on like Kohaku Utagasen.
No, but I've been a really big fan of them. So just seeing them do a song for Pokemon, it did it right. So I'm happy with the song. And yeah, I guess the rest of the OST, like you mentioned, TSS, it was okay. It's not one of my favorite ones, but it does have its memorable moments, like as mentioned before with the Celebi one. You know, giving it a good old remix. And that's really it for me anyway for the OST side. Ending song still knocks it out of the park for me.
Anybody else want to count on the OST? Okay then.
Because nobody pays attention to the music.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you weren't here, I think it was.
I know you guys are observant.
I would say you and
Polly.
TSS. Yeah, you and Polly are like the ones who care the most about the OST. So I'm like, if neither one of you are here, we probably don't even bring it up because, although it's not like we don't dislike the music, we just don't pay as much of attention to it. Well, that
Music
being,
makes the film, though. That's why
Oh,
we
no,
criticize the dub so much.
I mean, I criticize the dub for the voice acting. Not necessarily the
Well,
music.
let me go in because are the dub and sub are they that dramatically different in terms of OST? I only really watched the dub, so I wouldn't be able
Not
to
in this
judge
movie.
the
In
movie.
Not in
films,
this
Not in this
are.
film. It's
So
when
they
we
use
get
the
later
same-
in the
They use the
future.
same. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So in the movie, like I thought the music was good. I didn't. If anything, if it's bad, then I think that would have stood out a lot more. This was good to the point where it didn't. I didn't complain about anything in it, so it wasn't like, oh my god, I can't believe they used this song. It was just like the music ran well with the movie itself. It didn't ruin it to the point where it's like, oh my god, why are they playing these random synthesizers during the scene when they should have been playing this song?
Right.
So in terms of music, it was passable to me, but it wasn't like the end all be all for the movie. It helped set the environment at least, though. So that's my 2 cents. I guess we can move to the next thing.
It's
Good OST. Good
We've
OST.
kind of addressed all the major things in the film. I think the only thing else I really have to talk about before we get into like rating and whatnot is I think the only thing I noticed about this film is that the main character. This is probably the most equal I've seen the main three characters be in a film in a while. Like Ash
Yeah.
doesn't have his stereotypical like heavy stick out moment. Like he has the sequence in which he's carrying Celebi, but I wouldn't. Oh, I know what else we need to talk about. Side characters.
Who?
I forgot all about them.
I didn't.
Who?
They weren't bad. They just how do
Forgettable.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I could remember was Ethan.
They were
They
good
were-
characters, but forget
Wait, Ethan.
Yeah, he was in the film.
Got
In the opening sequence.
Exactly. That's the only side character I remember.
I felt like the other characters
what
only
about
really existed
Carl
to promote.
though?
Yeah, I felt they only existed to promote the next game.
Yeah, wasn't Carl wearing that?
The Woobat hat.
Woobat hat. Yeah, he's wearing a Woobat hat.
I love that. I don't know. I like the way that shit sounds. A Woobat hat.
Woo!
Woo!
Y'all got
Woo!
because you have him, you have his grandfather, you have Tammy, I think is her name in English, which is the old lady, and then you have the fellow journalist, who I think is probably one of the only minor gripes I have, which is that
She's a banger.
God,
What the?
Whoa.
Richie, relax.
Whoa!
There are children around apparently.
Wow.
Oh shit! I forgot this is.
Wait, who are we talking
this
about
is
again?
this is rated E for
He's
everyone.
talking about what's her name in English?
Rowena?
Right.
Oh, is that it? Okay, then yeah, that her.
That secretary, right?
Yeah, the secretary.
Yeah, she
And
looks better with the hair down. Just saying.
Or real
better
cut.
than that. Hair up.
I like the
Yeah.
anime puffballs, man.
No, that only works with that one female protagonist in Black 2 White 2.
Oh, Rosa.
Exactly.
Oh, Rosa's cute.
Here, it looks like that fucking character from what was it? That came out, Katamari Damacy, whatever it's called.
Oh.
It's OG. OG.
Yeah.
The prince.
So stupid.
Nice.
KG's so stupid.
Da, 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 da.
No! Oh yeah, because TS has been playing that game, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's still sealed, but I'm gonna play it. I have to get past Pokemon Emerald. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna play it before then because I Yokai Watch 4.
Also,
But anyway.
Tyrone, you're being defended in the chat. Be proud.
Wow.
I
actually-
noticed.
He's very proud.
Yeah.
Tyrone,
Did you notice the right in this film too?
Didn't would nuzzle you if it didn't shock you, so don't worry about it. But he appreciates the kindness. I mean, I like the side characters for what they are. They're not bad.
Hey,
Yeah.
at least all of them are key to the plot. And
They're
watching,
used-
no, not
they're
all of them except Proof because that was just
Right.
the other. Once again, the moment of, haha, freaking, okay, celebrity 5
Wait, is
second.
Proof that
appearance.
little girl at the beginning of the film?
Yes.
Oh, I was wondering what they were doing because I'm like, this shit is dumb.
It's promotion, Japanese
This is why-
promotion.
Yeah, it's just
idol
promotion.
Favorite parts.
Idol promotion.
This is why
Yeah.
TSS schedule doesn't bend for us. We bend for TSS's schedule.
Right.
It's these moments we appreciate. But okay, at least I know that because I was like another worthless cameo, and I like the design. And you didn't do anything with her. Now that I know, Knowing was half the battle. Don't do it.
Right.
Okay.
And she makes an appearance in the next film.
Oh, does she?
I think.
Okay.
If it's proof, right? We're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes an appearance in the next film.
Yep.
Oh,
so she gets
Oh,
a double
no, I
dip.
don't even know I don't even know how we're addressing that next film. That's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about it.
Oh shit! We should do a versus then.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know and I have an idea.
Okay, do we do this the racist way or the right way?
There's
The
six
right
of them.
the racist way.
Oh, there, sir.
No, just kidding.
The difference is you're not going to get shot dead at 75th Avenue
no,
North train at
so out
fucking
of
2 o'clock in the
curiosity,
afternoon.
It was
for
a
those,
joke, TSS.
For those
No.
who are curious why I said that, because some people might know, it's because it's the black and white films, and the first black and white film is essentially the same film
Black and
twice, but with very
It's a
slight
wall
differences.
movie.
I think
So-
they switched the characters.
So the joke would be is that the darker people here will watch the black film, and the lighter people here will watch the light film, and then I realized it still
No,
might
it's
not be
reversed.
balanced.
That means TSS.
No,
would be
you
the
should have
only
done
one
it the
watching.
ideals versus the truth. There
Well,
you go.
the thing is,
Well,
though,
I
the thing
said
is,
this is
I
the
remember-
racist version.
I remember watching the one with the what was it
The white Pokemon.
the shiny.
Oh. I was right. It was
Shiny
the white. It was the white Pokemon.
Yeah, the white one. Yeah, so I have to watch black now.
All
right.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm gonna watch the superior version, which I believe was the. Let me see if I can remember.
You don't even know.
Wait,
You
hold
don't
on.
even
Wait,
know.
Wait for KG's answer.
KG
Hold
doesn't even
on,
know.
no, because one of the big differences with this film too that most people don't realize is the OST is also different for each variation.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is one of the most noticeable ones, and one version of the film is superior to the other. In my opinion, anyway. They're still great songs. I just feel one version is much better
I
than
honestly
the other.
thought TSS. I thought KG's reasoning was gonna be.
I watched the one with Zoroark in it on Cartoon Network, so I'm gonna have to watch the one with Reshiram now.
Zoroark?
I'm gonna Zekrom.
I didn't realize it was.
Wow.
Zekrom, Zoroark. Yeah, see, that's Pokemon's biggest
This is your
problem with
brain
Pokemon.
on dark.
Okay,
This was Tyrone Z-Move before Z-Moves were a thing.
That's the problem with Pokemon whose names begin with Z. They all sound the same, like Zeraora, Zekrom, like yeah, they all
Don't act
sound
like those are so close just because they begin with the letter Z.
Zekrom, like Zeraora.
Right? Say it so fast.
What'd you say, Vanessa?
okay. I think the
Fast, three
Zekrom
times.
version is the one I'm talking about, by the way, guys. The Zekrom version is actually, in my opinion, the superior one.
Okay, that's
for
the one I
starters,
watched.
the title theme of that next movie for Zekrom is fucking phenomenal.
Oh my
That's one
goodness.
thing. Oh, seriously, like if you're gonna watch both films, you will definitely notice interesting change in
don't
music
remember-
quality.
I don't
Because
remember
I
which
think this
one.
film has like 60 plus songs total, but that's because they're spreading it out to 2 different films.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's like it's one of my
Right.
favorite OSTs because of just how much there is in there. In fact, I think some of the songs here end up actually still getting used in
Isn't there a way to watch them in
series.
Simo? Like
Well,
watch them
yeah,
simultaneously?
because that was the first one. Because that was the first one that was
Would you
distributed
do
by
that,
Sony.
Tyrone?
I would if it's an option.
I might.
But because the issue is going to come in the part of the music and all that overlaying each other, isn't it? Overlapping. I think that's what.
Well,
you're saying?
yeah, I'm saying like I could. Is it possible to watch? Well, they probably don't use the same lines either, though. So
No, because see, the issue comes in the part of when Ash encounters Pacific Legendary. That's where
Yeah.
shit changes.
This is besides the point, folks. Remember, we were talking about movie 13 here.
Oh no, we
yeah.
already talked about how it's already the best film within.
That's
the
besides the
franchise.
point. We still need to have the rest of the conversation. So, I guess we're good on all the major things of the film. So, I think can we just move into the rating? What we give it out of
Yeah.
10?
Yep.
Okay. Let's start from the duck to the little girl. Vanessa, what do you give this film out of 10 and why?
Monday, I'll go first.
I actually give this film 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
Oh,
Well,
snap,
yeah.
yo.
The reason being though, I actually did not expect to enjoy the movie more than I thought it would be, because it definitely was a better watch than the last few films for sure. And Also, the plot like super solid. The villain is hateable, which like, and then I was surprised the villain was super violent too. That was like the other thing that kind of caught me. And then also Zora was super cute. I enjoyed every little antic of Zora with every Zora antic they had out there. So there wasn't really much negatives I can really give from this film. So it was like for me everything was just pretty much solid. I think the probably the only negative is just I can't. I was like probably the music. I can't really say much though, but that's it.
Okay, Mr. Dudene, what do you give it?
I'm giving this movie a 7.5.
Oh,
I
you
think
bitch.
it. What? Come on.
You're gonna be like TSS with this decimal shit. Relax.
Well, look, this is the only movie I'm probably
7.12.
gonna. Yeah, I would say this is the only movie I'm probably gonna do it on. It's a good movie. Like rewatching it actually helped it score a lot because if we were just rating it based on what I remember, it would have gotten a 5. But rewatching it definitely helped it out. I feel like Celebi is a more relevant Pokemon in this movie than her actual debut, like in movie 4. So that really helped her case. The villain, like Nessa said, is a super hateable villain just because of how cruel he is. And not just on Celebi, but just as the world as a whole. It's kind of, I always find it interesting when there's an entire city or a entire community that's under someone's control and it's been under their control for so long to finally see them get liberated. Kind of like how the Dai controlled Bossing Say or some shit like that. So I
That was
do
such a
love
weird
the
reference, but all right.
No, it's not. It's when
It's
the
not.
entire town. It's when the entire town is in a quote unquote utopia, but it's only because it's a utopia that the villain allowed. The villain has already had so much of a grip that all our heroes have managed to do is open their eyes. Everybody in the city has to learn this way of life now without him because they broke his control on the entire world. So, well, at least Crown City. So I like the villain. I like the plot. I like the use of the characters. I like the fact that Ash and the others, while they are the main characters, they don't take away from this movie too much. And I love how effectively they contribute, though. The only downside, I think, is like the lack of use of legendary Pokemon. Like they have Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, but they don't use them to their fullest. And then I think the other downside, I believe, was the side characters we talked about, which kind of is just there to promote Unova. But other than that, solid 7.5.
Reggie.
I would say it's 7 as well. Not really a whole lot of holes for me to poke at this movie because I mean the only thing I do have to say about it, and this is even the movie's fault, I still kind of hold on to the fact that this probably could have been an hour and a half TV special, or if you want to break it down, a 3-parter, whatever you want to call it there. Actually, the other thing I could say is that the plot, if you don't understand like the basics of time travel, it might be a little bit hard to understand. But if you manage to understand like the basics, at least within this film, I think it'll make it easier to understand the plot in itself. So it's a little convoluted, I would say, for people that don't understand. But if you kind of understand, then it should be okay. And I guess the other thing I could say, as far as like a negative,
You could say a lot of things, Richard.
oh no, I could, like your mod over there. But
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, where's
I
my
told you
pillow?
stuff like that, boy.
He put me to sleep on that one. Where's my pillow? God
but I'm
dang.
not mod though. All right. Anyways, the one sort of negative thing I have to say about this movie is the side characters could have been not forgettable. I don't know. The side characters to me should be relevant towards the plot in some sort of way. I mean, they were, but I wasn't really too impressed with the involvement. It could have been a little bit better, but not a big deal. The LC was pretty good, but I would say, just to give a different answer, I would say it was a little weaker in the trilogy, at least. Might be a little bit better than the Giratina film, but it had a few tracks in there that I really liked, especially Celebi's Blessing, which apparently near the end of it, I think, has a remix from movie 4. So, and I was listening to Side by Side, and I just loved how they remixed it. But overall, good music. Side characters could have been a little bit more involved. Um, the villain was probably one of the best villains as far as humans that we had in a while, and a long while too. Might I add. So other than that, it gets a 7 rate. It's 7 out of 10 for me. Do I recommend watching this movie? Yes, I do. It's actually not that bad of a movie. If you see it on TV, go have a listen or have a look. It's a pretty good one.
TSS.
8.75 out of 10.
Wow.
Whoa!
At least it's.
That's
at
a
least,
weird rating.
I just go for it.
At least better than the last one.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
it's because it's the most surprising film because I actually didn't even watch the film when it first came out.
So this was your
because
first
I was
time
kinda-
watching it?
Yeah, it was the first time watching it, and actually, I just remember from back in the day, it was like, well, this movie is, and then when I finally watched it, first of all, like we mentioned, Kodai is one of the best human antagonists in the entire movie franchise. I loved the character development, the fact that he had the power to look into the future and actually foreshadowing scenes that we would actually see later on in the movie. Pretty damn good. The way that he controlled Crown City, and also just by virtue of the fact that we just have like a well-balanced plot, even though there was a crap ton of characters. For me, also, we didn't talk about this, but I'll bring it up now. There was a lot of double crosses that felt like being in an old rickety roller coaster with inadequate seatbelts. They jerk you to one side and to the other, and I really enjoyed that. So those sequences, because it's like you see, oh, is something gonna happen? Oh, nope. And it happens a few times during the film, and I really liked that aspect. To chime in also on the characters, yeah, they were kind of unforgettable, but to be honest, there was a lot of characters in this film. So, and especially there's a lot of plot going around, so there really wasn't much time for character development. But like I said, out of all of the, actually, I would say this is probably the best movie since movie 8. So this one, I kind of said that movie 20 was the best since 8. I think this one is the best since 8. Better than the trio trilogy of movies 10, 11, and 12. Zora was the least annoying telepathy character that we've had in a long time.
It also still doesn't make sense for him, but fuck it, we don't care.
Yeah.
Because he's a dark type. At least be psychic.
But he had as I mentioned before, he had no annoying vocal tics.
Oh no, I understand. I'm just saying.
I don't think Zora could talk, but I don't think Zora talked enough for it to really annoy me either.
Yeah, he didn't get on my nerves.
But it also showed a dynamic range of emotions.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's what makes it pretty high for me. Like I said, the only downsides I would say is just the fact that OST was kind of okay-ish.
Yeah.
And the character, and like I said, the side characters are forgettable, but they are relevant. Every single one of them, or almost every single one of them, were relevant to the plot. So 8.75 out of 10. Definitely go watch it. Schema Switch, Ice Cream Syndrome, very nice. CG, including the CG ship where you see Zora just sliding off of it. That was a beautiful thing too. So great CG, and the CG Agahanto or Beautiflies, the CG Pokemon, the CG boats and stuff, and the plane. Those, once again, fantastic use of CG, and definitely go watch it. 8.75.
Nice.
KG.
Not bad.
Okay. So finally, it feels good to be in this review for this film because this is one of my favorite films out there. And to give a rating, 9.17. There you go. That's what I would give for a rating.
You guys are fucking assholes, is what you are.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hey! At least I gave.
When you got annoyed by it.
Hey, at least I gave.
Always lose, Tyrone.
At least I gave a decimal that's actually divisible. It's like
That's part of the reason why I like-
You're gonna question why mine are okay.
Well, no,
well,
KG's is out of spite. That's what that is.
yeah,
no,
that's
like-
because
he's
no,
like-
no,
he
because
says
you
one-
wanted to give a rating based off of the area code for New York cell phones.
The minute Terrell got annoyed with it, you should have known that was when it was gonna
I know.
start
Listen,
overflowing.
Tyrone. I always lose, and it sucks, and I can't do anything about it.
And
I
all we
okay,
can
Jay,
do over
look.
here is just give a big old smile. To the
KG, let's get it to your reason for your
No,
Oh
score.
no! Look, it's an illusion. The real score is 9.25. Nah, but
I'm so done
Piece of
with this
shit.
shit, yo. I'm so
see,
mad.
it all fixed
I'm
in the
so
end, guys.
mad.
You just had to wait it.
I'm mad that translated so well to a joke. I'm so mad because it definitely did not deserve that shit. Fuck you, sir.
Got him.
Jesus.
Got him.
I'm so done with the show. How dare you?
All right,
All right.
KG, go.
Now, to speak about the film, oh my god, I absolutely adore this film. I feel, in terms of pacing, storytelling, characters, outside of the side characters, I'm talking more about the Pokemon characters like Zoroark, Zorua. Yeah, Celebi had issues here and there, but I still felt like Celebi still was able to hold on its own. Just needed to tweak things up a bit with its storytelling with that part. But outside of that, though, I felt the film was great. All of the characters, being of Ash and Dawn and Brock, they had their moments within the film. The main villain, as we mentioned before, last good human villain was back in movie 2. So 12 movies later, we finally got a really good, competent villain. The only issue just comes in the part that I feel this shouldn't have been the final movie for the series, given the fact that Ash and the gang are pretty much all packed with fully evolved
It
Pokemon
ends on
at
a
this
high
point.
note, though, KG.
Oh, it does end on a high note. It just feels funny that when we start messing around with space and time and all this shit and going to the past and whatnot, and somehow that was a bigger threat than what was going on, like with that, and then coming into this one, you're just like, oh, look, this shit should have been done in 5 minutes right there. Just take out your Inferno, blast the man in the face, boom, plot over. But
Right.
they didn't do that, obviously, to keep the movie going. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time with the film. It was great rewatching this again, especially because, as I mentioned many times in the past, one of the cool things about watching a film from then and now is noticing all the little things you didn't see the first time around and being able to see it here within this film. There were nice little tidbits here and there, nice little attention to details, the CG scenes that were spread out throughout the film, especially with the in the forest with I think it was the Beautifly, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit looked beautiful. I absolutely loved it. It felt so
The
natural.
Beautify looked beautiful.
Wow, beautiful.
All right, it in the moonlight, man.
Beautiful.
Just
Pun.
fucked him all the way up. He was like, God damn it.
Yeah,
We-
like,
we
ah,
make-
shit.
we make
Oh, there
fun
goes
too.
my shiny moment. But yeah, I have not much more to say. But this movie really did make me appreciate Zorua as a Pokemon, and thanks to this film, it is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Hell, even if you look at the design of Ruby, you'll actually notice a nice little detail that the two share with one another. It's
Oh,
a little
boy.
minor, but it did get inspiration
Oh yeah,
from Zorua. somewhere.
those dots. Those dots.
Exactly.
On the floor.
Yeah, they were inspired by Zorua, and that's probably like the little detail right there.
Wow.
So there you go.
Did you actually succeed in blowing TS's mind? That is
Wow.
that shit is a rare.
Well, I never
moment.
really brought it up, so now it's a perfect.
Oh my god.
Holy shit! I think I killed Tyrone.
Yeah, I'll take a number two.
I'm fine. That was
Okay,
someone else's
No,
mic.
I think that was.
No, that's yours, Tyrone. Don't.
No, that was.
But
Vanessa,
it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure that was Vanessa.
That was Nessus.
Probably mine.
I feel like Vanessa's in the corner. Like, oh god.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh
whoa.
my
What is
god.
happening?
That's a record not to bust glass.
Jesus
Right.
Christ. I bust
Looks
the
like you carried
windows
away
out
now.
your car. God damn.
Oh my
Where did my
god.
windows go? No. You should have loaded Linux. Ah. Oh my goodness.
Loaded.
We're
Yeah.
fucking serious.
TSS got it.
We use
TSS
Grub,
got
not
it.
Lilo.
Only you would get that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm laughing at it because
So
I
I've been
know.
sitting here going back and forth where I wanted to put this movie in my rating, and I'm
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to do the 4.
and I'm fluctuating between two numbers, and I think because I want to be fair to this film, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Oh wow.
0.8 out of 7.
No, fuck,
Ooh.
no.
I did my best, but I guess my best
I-
wasn't good enough.
I don't want to be redundant because everyone else
No,
has kind of
get good.
talked about the good points of this film. The emotional connection I had by the end of this film with Zora and Zoroark and how happy I was to see them together, that to me highlighted this film is a fucking shining diamond in a pile of shit that is the other three films.
Oh.
I am very surprised at how much I enjoyed this film and how well done it was. I think its weakest aspect is that some of the characters don't stick out, but when you hit me emotionally on making your
It's like
main
a minor issue, though.
making your
Probably,
villain,
probably a good thing.
yeah, I was like making your villain such a dick that I want to hit him in the face myself,
Yes.
and making your main Pokemon lovable to the point where I really cared about him getting back with his mom. I was like, I don't care how unforgettable Ash is because he has like another 7 to 10 films. I don't really
Right.
care. I'm good with this. So,
At least this is a movie that's done right.
yeah. So I'm like,
Right.
the sacrifice was worth it. Brock and Don, you've been sacrificed to the god of Arceus for this bullshit. I don't care. I'll see you never. It's a good film. I like this film a lot. It's a great film. Really good. So with that being said, there's one more thing we need to do, and then we can
Yep.
get out of
Actually,
here.
before we do that, actually, I just want to also mention that
Oh.
the real like emotions. I mean, you like there's tons of swinging emotions in this film, and it really makes you like appreciate the writing that goes into that goes into this specific film. There's not a lot of films that do that. It's like oh ho hum, but this one you actually really get enthralled in the story, and it just hits you with a lot of stuff, and that's one of the reasons why I love this film now.
Oh, I got a question now. That you guys mentioned that. Like, was this from a different director or a writer?
Same director,
Same
Same
director.
Yeah.
Yuyama.
I guess it was
Yuyama.
just a
Yeah.
great when making this film.
You approve.
Okay,
You
yeah.
approve over time. That's what you do.
It sounds like it.
And then he went to shit again. So
Chill out.
Oh,
Chill
wow.
out. Wait.
I would say
Wait. Wait. God damn it. Wait.
Spoiler.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 4 DP films and rate them from best to worst. Since we've already done reviews, we don't really need to get into the reason why, unless you just want to view why one's better or worse than the other. I'm gonna start this off from my best to worst. So that's how we're doing this. Best is Zoroark. I don't even think that's a question in my mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this is just the Dominant Pro film. So it's Zoroark,
Right.
Giratina, Darkrai, and what am I missing?
Arceus.
Arceus.
wow, I'm genuinely surprised you have Giratina above Darkrai.
No. I was just
No,
listening
he's saying
No,
that's
he's
all the
below.
movies.
that's
Wow.
the films
What do
we're
you mean?
rating. That's the
No,
films
no,
we're
Oh,
rating.
I thought you
No,
were
here-
legitimate because he
here's
went
that
out of order.
No.
He's laying out the rules that these are the 4
Yes.
films we need to rate.
Yeah. So
Okay.
from best to worst, it's Zoroark.
Oh, I got baited.
Probably Darkrai, and these last two fluctuate with me because depending on my mood, I really hate one of them, and in other days I really hate the other one. I'm gonna say
Well, it depends. Which one of the two do you, if you had the choice, which one would you rewatch?
I wouldn't rewatch
None
either
of
of
them.
them.
That's the problem.
that's the thing.
I know. That's the point.
That's the reason he can't pick.
If I had to be real with myself, and this is only by a smidge, it probably would be Zoroark, Darkrai, Arceus, Shaman.
There you go.
And it was-
That's the right
it was-
decision.
it was
you made the
hard.
right decision.
It was hard, and I'll give you a quick reason why. Arceus is really fucking redundant and has some stupid things in it. But I don't hate a character nowhere near as much as I hate fucking Shaman.
Shaman. Yes.
Shaman is the main reason why the Giratina film, mind you, is so fucking low. Because fuck you, Shaman, and fuck you, Zero. All right.
Wow.
Fucking
Yeah.
dog shit. He's the reason why that movie is the reason why I don't like Shaman in the games. I never have any interest in using Shaman in any way. Fucking hate him. It's fucking garbage.
Golly.
Okay, yeah, Shaman didn't affect my way I view him in the games. That's not. I don't think video game Shaman should suffer for that.
Oh no, he does.
I will.
You know why?
I will say
Because they look the
Shaman.
same. They look the same.
Oh,
Terrell.
good.
It's PTSD.
Terrell, I would not look at life in that perception.
I know. That's how hate
Are you
starts.
sure about that?
Love your brothers and sisters, everyone.
Yes.
Besides
Okay,
one.
so who's next to rate?
You are.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Go,
Okay.
go.
All right. So the best one to me is Zoroark. I think we've all made that decision. The one after that would have to be Darkrai, of course, because it wins amongst the three that is in the trilogy. Then you've got the Arceus movie, which is it's bad, it's bland, it's boring. But I would much rather have boring than something that openly annoys me in this situation, and that would be the Shaman movie, which is dead last. The Shaman movie, is bad. It doesn't have any real redeeming qualities. The villain isn't inspired, and then it sucks that usually when they do escort missions, you want a Pokemon that you actually want to grow with Ash and the character arc, but this one reverts its growth, so it's just it's a mess. So yeah, that's my rating.
Okay. TSS.
Okay, so out of the four, Zoroark is the best one, then followed by Darkrai. And then we have Arceus, because at least, redundancy is better than a fucking vocal tick that gets on your fucking nerves
I feel like
every 5 minutes.
Damn.
So Shaman is last.
Damn, bro.
Because the damn vocal tick. This show, get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here.
I want pancakes. Shut the fuck up,
I
Shaman.
think I feel like these are gonna be really redundant, but we're gonna keep going.
But we got to do them for professional sake.
Yeah, for professionalism.
Yeah, we gotta do it because
As I sit here in my boxers drinking Powerade, professionalism.
Go ahead.
Powerade 2019.
Vanessa, next.
Wah!
Oh,
Okay.
I'm still
Let
standing.
the
Guys,
woman
relax.
speak.
Relax, guys. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Go ahead, miss.
Jesus Christ.
so for me, actually, I think mine's gonna be slightly different, but actually, the Darkrai movie first for me, because it's a little.
How dare you?
Shut up, Nessa. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Well,
Jesus.
the reason I actually have more memories with the Darkrai one, I guess, because of course I wasn't in that review, so there's no way to know exactly. But yeah, that was
Sorry, Nessa. I didn't mean to say it like that. I was like, let the woman speak.
No.
I picked Darkrai. Shut up, Nessa.
It's like he immediately regresses for decisions.
Well,
Right.
there's some more things I guess I enjoyed more in the Darkrai, even though there's some couple things in that movie that stood out a little bit more. And then very, very close, it was a Zoroark. The Zoroark movie this comes in second, so it was actually very close for me. So not too much. But I think I remember more of the Darkrai had more of an impact versus the Zora movie from what I experienced. And then, of course, the last two, Arceus, it was boring, bland, like everyone said, and I can't stand the Shaman movie. It was so hard. It was just so hard for me to rewatch the damn movie.
Lord.
Yeah.
Because Shaman's so damn annoying, and I was like, I wish they could have punched the little freaking hedgehog or something, but no, of course they can't.
Sonic is the only hedgehog I care about. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
Right.
Yeah, I care about punching. You're right.
No, fuck you, KG.
Punching the hedgehog.
He always want to put his hands on. We always want to put your hands on somebody. How fucking dare you?
Look at this bloody Shaman.
Oh no!
Punch Shaman.
Tyrone, that's your next mixtape. That is your next mixtape. It's
After the first one that you're gonna release like 3,000 years.
After you do the
It's just
beating
gonna
up.
be Sonic music. It's gonna be Sonic music, but it's like Punch a Shaman and all of them.
Exactly.
Trash.
10 out of 10.
Chemical plant. Punch a Shaman. Punch a Shaman. Punch a Shaman.
Relax. God. Richie. We need
Yeah,
your
save
list.
the best for last, huh? Anyways,
Yeah, KG's the best.
Hey, KG didn't
I
go.
would say KZ's last.
I'll admit it. KG's the best. Move on. Get
Go ahead,
over it.
Richie.
Get over it.
nah, I'm going last. Fuck y'all.
What? Richie, go!
It's
Go,
my
Richie, go!
Go have
Podcast.
go have your pineapple and fucking ham pizza.
But I hate pineapple pizza.
Oh,
Richie,
shit.
go!
I agree with that.
Go, Richie, go.
Anyway,
Go.
first one. Actually, at the beginning, I thought I was gonna put Dark Ride #1, but after rewatching it, first one's gotta be the Zoroark film.
All right.
Then the second one is Dark Ride because, as the others have stated, it's the best, at least in the shit mind you call the trilogy. Then you got the Arceus film at third, and then the Giratina film at fourth. I'm pretty much going to say a redundant reason, as the others have already stated, but the reason for me, at least, is because at least the
agree with you,
Arceus
dog.
film.
Yeah,
the
dog.
That's not my dog, though. Mine's actually
Even the dog hates the Shaman movie.
That was my dog.
Even this dog hates the Shaman movie. Go ahead, Rich.
Disclaimer, folks. That dog always barking in my mic is not mine's. Actually, it's my uncle's. So I claim
now
no
he's
ownership.
like, yeah, Richie's like, it ain't
claim
me this
ownership.
time, bitch. You can't make fun of me in the comments.
Yeah. All right, but anyways, redundant reason, but here we go. The Arceus film, to me, at least at least compared to the Giratina film, had a better engaging plot and somewhat of emotional connection. With the Shaman film, it's just like, God, how long is this movie gonna be? Like, I find myself saying that a lot watching the Giratina movie, while with the Arceus movie, it's sort of like I'm at least engaged. I may not like it as much, but at least I'm engaged to like what it has to offer. Although I think we can all agree that the time travel aspects that we talked about last time was kind of not really executed well. But other than that, that is my ranking. Just to state it again, Zoroark first, Dark Ride #2, Arceus #3, Giratina or Shaman #4, and that's it.
Look, apparently Richie's locked up. I hear chains in the background.
I ain't
Yeah.
mean, dog. I swear. I ain't mean.
He's going to jail now.
I'm on the
I think
jam now.
I think that noise might have came from my mic.
Why do you have chains?
No, it's the keychain.
Oh, thought you were
Oh, he's
going
about to
to
be a
jail.
Keyblade master.
I was just about to make a Kingdom Hearts joke. God damn it, Rich.
Reconnect.
I don't even play Kingdom Hearts.
Oh shit, KG go.
You have escaped the matrix.
All right.
No,
so,
we don't. I didn't take the pills. Go ahead.
Okay, so my rankings on the film. Surprisingly,
red-
I have a tie for this one, but not for best film. To be quite honest, for worst film. So, for tied for being worst film, I have the Dark Ride movie,
Whoa.
the Shaman
Whoa.
movie,
Whoa.
and the
How
Arceus
dare you.
movie.
What?
You can't break the whole video.
And for first place would be Zoroark. Here's my reasoning.
KG, no, you made
Here's my reasoning. Let me explain.
Let some
All right, let me have my little scene right here because I need to clarify exactly why I feel
Oh, God.
this is the
my
reason.
heart.
Movie 10. I had issues with it. We talked about it in the
Time to
review.
put the
You can
basketball
check it out
on.
over there. And key thing, the best part about that film was the OST, which, by the way, you can listen to it separately without watching film, so you're saving yourself there. Now, Shaman movie, holy shit, there's so much to talk about with that film that is just
That's why it
incredibly
should
boring.
be last.
At the same time, it does have some redeeming moments in it. Unfortunately, that shit is the OST yet again, which you can listen to it separately, so you don't really need to watch the film in itself. Now, Arceus movie. I wish I was gonna be in that review, man. I really Captain Marvel at that time, so I couldn't have joined that one. So, my thoughts on the Arceus movie, not just a short one. I hate it. So there you go. Now, my thoughts with regards to the fucking film was pointless. This entire trilogy was fucking pointless. Holy shit, that ending of the trilogy film with the Arceus movie just made everything pretty much completely pointless, like a Sonic 06, but in movie form. Because now all of that shit that happened in the past is pretty much non-existent at this moment. Moving onward, and then that means that I can't see the film separately because they're all connected within the same thing. it all ties back to Arceus, meaning that I can't see the Dark Ride movie without realizing that we have those other two films ahead of it that connects all that shit together. Therefore, I'm putting all of it down in the trash. You deserve none of it. Just watch the goddamn OST. That's the best redeeming shit within those three films. You can leave everything to the side. Let the music speak for itself, and you can probably get a better experience.
And for this, I'm going to specifically gift KG $20 Taco Bell gift certificate.
I've never seen KG rage out like that hard, so I actually did kind of welcome it.
I'm so lucky. Like,
It's because this shit was so. Oh my god! I think what hurts me the shit
I took today.
I think what hurts me the most is that there was just so much potential with the writing for the three movies, but you completely shut it down the park because, well, none of it means anything anymore by the end of the film. All of that shit was utterly pointless.
I just imagine what I imagine is like Darkrai, Giratina, and Shaman looking down in shame right now, like KG yelling.
Darkrai, you have no reason to come back to life. What the hell was your excuse for coming back to life after me?
That's the irony of it all.
It's plot armor.
That's the irony
You
of
got
it all.
blasted by both space and time, and somehow you landed your ass back into the film in the proper timeline.
Come back later.
You wanna know something?
Shaman, holy shit, that piece of shit hedgehog.
You wanna know something? It had the ability Struddy.
Oh, you're garbage.
30 and live by 1 HP.
You're garbage. KG, I will respect your opinion. I will disagree with it. I know you can't see them.
It's still a pile of shit, but I'll respect it.
I'm just saying, I can't put Darkrai on the same level. That's disrespectful to Darkrai to me. Like,
what's disrespectful of Darkrai was him coming back to life at the end of the film with no
that
explanation
doesn't drop
whatsoever.
it down to the same level as Arceus and fucking.
Yeah, I would say
Yes,
that's
it
the
does,
bad part.
because now that shit is gone at this point now.
Oh my goodness.
No, it doesn't.
My whole point with unfortunately, I see this film as 3 in 1, and that really hurts me.
You're blinded by anger. Let go of the
I'm not
hatred.
being blinded by anger. I'm just being blinded by the fact that this movie.
Sasuke, let go of your hatred.
Just don't be that one guy that fucking buys a Honda Civic and puts a fucking Sasuke fucking seat on the fucking window, okay?
Well, you want to know who KG is? KG's the type of person where
I've seen that in my fucking neighborhood.
Well, if 8 people are in a race and the race is over, the person who gets first place, and every other contestant just gets a pin.
That's why I always say second place is the first loser. There you go.
So KG, instead of saying second place, KG just gives a pin to everybody that says last.
At least you tried. There you go.
Right, it's like a nasty brown colored pin that just says blast. Brown.
Oh, right, I forgot. I've been only talking about the bad films. I didn't mention about what was the best film about this whole EP series. So that goes to Zoroark and Surua. So there you go. I mean, we already talked about it within the review. So if you haven't seen it, then go back and rewind.
I think
KG is always the optimistic in our group. He's always the one that looks for like the positive side.
This is the first time. This is the first time I heard him blow up.
I've ever heard him blow up. He raged out more than me and TSS can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty stiff person, to freaking argue with something. But this is like, cake. I think that's the problem. I think I understand why KG hates tacos now.
God damn it, Shaman, why you ruined tacos?
I have no
Well,
words.
it looks like a fucking taco, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're not gonna eat that though. That's the point.
No. I like my tacos, so like
Jesus
so
Christ.
It was so weird to see a chaotic good. Like
Good. Now somebody make fan art making Shaman look like a taco.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll pay for it.
Oh my goodness.
I'll pay for it.
Oh my. Okay, listen. With all that being said,
Thank you.
we're done with Gen 4.
Thank you.
Goodness, we ended on a high note, at least.
We technically have 3 more
Piece of
gens
shit,
that
Jen.
will. It'll be I'm assuming we'll get done with this before Gen 8's first film comes out. So
If we're doing it weekly, then or bi-weekly,
well,
then I would.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we're at a pretty good pace.
So we're
Yeah, we're decent.
the next. All right, so now technically, Black and White has
2 films.
no. Well, in
Yeah.
total, it has.
No, 14.
No, I know what it
14.
means. Yeah.
Do we-
14 has 2 films.
Okay, so we have 2 14 films. And someone's like, now to the worst gen.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
that's
Oh,
not.
no.
I can say right now we are going to be going up from here, at least to a certain point.
I think this is what
I'm
I
very,
And then
I'll
we're
say
getting
this.
knocked out.
Considering
Yeah.
how
I'm
much,
gonna get knocked down like
considering
a
how
police.
much I like the Zoroark film, I'm actually interested to see how my rewatch of the Victini film is going to be. Because
Okay,
yeah,
but
there's-
now this is where things become interesting
There's-
because
There's the 2 Victini films, the Keldeo film, and then the Mewtwo film, right?
now I heard the Genesect film is pretty bad. Now this Genesect
It's
will be the
pretty bad.
Yeah,
this,
it's bad.
Genesect is the first time
I haven't even watched that
film.
one yet. That's,
Yeah, me
that's
too.
that's the only Gen 5 movie I haven't watched yet.
Yeah, that will
bad.
be my
Even,
first.
even though it's based out of fucking New York City, you know.
This will be
thinking
my
that-
first
Would New
time
Park City?
watching.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, something like that.
That was
Oh,
New York City.
I was gonna say
New
this
Twerk
was-
City?
Oh, that's
Or
terrible.
something. Yeah.
And I wanted the Pokemon film that was based in New York, but I had to choose the fucking one, the worst one.
Yeah.
So this will be my. I think it'll be me and TSS's first time watching the Gensec film. I've seen the other
Yes.
2 films before. I'm
Yeah, of
looking
course,
forward to rewatching the Keldeo film because I actually really like the Keldeo film from what I remember.
Yes, it's good.
I don't remember shit really from the Victini film.
Shokotan.
So
now, okay, now this is a quick thing. Now, this could only matter to those who are really into the OST sort of stuff. As I mentioned before, to me personally, I have a much more fond experience with one certain film over the other because of the OST itself. I know you guys mentioned before that you aren't exactly into the OST as much. So I'm curious to see how this is actually going to play out because now, depending on what films we watch, some of the opinions we might say, certain scenes might differ just because of that too.
So, and I guess that gets into our quick thing about the next film. Since there are 2 versions of 14, I think part of us need to watch one and part of us need to watch the other.
Okay.
One's
I don't
like-
think-
I have
think-
to watch. I have to watch Black then because I didn't watch. I watched White.
I think I gotta watch
Okay.
White because I think I watched Black, which was not smart in retrospect.
What do you watch both?
Well, then you rewatch
Don't
one
have
of them
time.
again.
Well, we need
No,
it.
it's fine.
Actually, I might actually try to go and watch both films.
I don't know if I
just-
want
I might try to watch both.
Here's the plot twist. I'm not gonna be here next Friday.
Well, we're not gonna do
Oh.
it. I was
We're
gonna
not
take.
doing it next
Oh,
Friday.
you're not doing it next Friday. This is the why you think we're doing the 13. 13 this week because you guys, some of you are not gonna be here next week.
Oh yeah.
I think it was. I think it was Vanessa, TSS, and somebody else. I don't remember.
Nah,
But I knew
Probably
two. I
not.
knew 2 of you weren't gonna be available, so
I think it was only those 2.
it might have been just those 2. It's fine. So that's the plan for next review. Will be 14, where we talk about part of that film and the other part. I really don't remember shit from this film, so I'm very curious to see how this is gonna go.
I remember Shiny.
And then how many films does Gen 6 get?
3.
3.
Was that
Yeah.
Volcanion?
Furry.
They get
Canyon, Diancie, and then Hoopa.
yeah, they got Diancie who playing Volcanion.
What?
This was actually the last one that had 4 films after.
Yeah, this is the last movie to have last gen have 4 films.
Yeah, because
Which is kind of funny because it's technically 3 films.
Because Gen 7's only had what 2?
Well, that's because the gens went from 4 years to 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's what else. Episodes were so long too before. They used to have it like maybe hundreds.
Yeah, Terrell, you're right. Gen 7 literally only had like 2, and then like their third film is basically a remake of the first film. So, I'm not counting that.
So was their first film. Their first film is a fucking remake.
Well, yeah, but
no,
it veers
technically
off-
that's-
it veers
no,
off-
that-
No, it's not. No, it's
it veers
not
off
because
into its
it's,
it veers off into the Ho-Oh stuff.
it's just
It's a somewhat retelling.
It's
No,
a
it's the
retelling of
Ultimate
episode-
Universe generation. That's what
also
they
the
call it.
universe, and also it has slight rewriting of episode 1, but that's
Yeah.
only the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like super short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the views and the follows and the support, and you guys making fun of us with all this ridiculousness.
Yep.
The next time we're gonna dive into the black and white series. Fucking love the anime. I know some of you guys are not fans of the anime. I like the anime for black and white.
I like the anime too.
It has.
I actually had a pretty good grip of them.
We're gonna open a can of worms. Stop.
I'm just saying because we do need to. Oh, do we need to do a Silent and Iris video considering those are our new side characters for this gen?
We usually talk about the new protagonist when we get to the first of the movies.
Yeah, we
Well,
do.
then, okay, we'll wait then.
Yeah.
I don't.
What?
No, it's just gonna be weird that we're gonna talk about characters with like future Pokemon in the first film. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna talk about like how Silent and Iris in the first film don't have certain Pokemon within that moment
I
where
don't
they
remember.
have it.
I don't remember where their team was at in the first film.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know. I think Iris at that moment had.
I barely remember what their
Molga?
team was at in the second
I
film.
think she just had extra drill and Axu only at that time.
So it was like,
Yeah, she only had extra drill axe you.
so this is like super early into the. Also, thank you for following KG. This is weird.
I think Ash only had like two. I think he only had like 2 or 3 badges at this point.
Yeah, I feel
too.
like this is like super
Yeah.
early into the.
Yeah, because he
region.
uses Oshawott in the movie I watched, and then used Tepig, I think, in the other movie.
That's such a weird. This is just gonna be a weird film, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support, and we will see you guys next time with Pokemon. What is Black and White's title? I don't even remember.
Oh snap! Yeah, go ahead, TSS.
Okay, so
Okay.
Somebody
That's
shout
the title,
TSS.
folks.
so we have 2 titles for the Japanese. So that's Gekijo Ban Pocket Monster Black. Let's see. Best Wish, because we gotta do Best Wish. Best Wish. Victini to let's see. Victini to what is it? Oh yeah. Victini to Shiroki Eiyu Reshiram and Gekijo Ban Pocket Monster Best Wish. Victini to Kuroi Eiyu Zekrom, which is Victini and the Light Hero Reshiram and Victini and the Dark Hero Zekrom.
I think this is like the only film that actually tries to take some of the elements from the games, and
Yes.
try to
Yes.
put it in the movie, because the second film doesn't do that at all, and the third film
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea. But the fact that Mewtwo's in there, can go. Ironically, no, I just realized Mewtwo in Genesect film is pretty much a Gen 6 film in terms of.
Yeah.
Damn
Because
it!
Mega Evolution.
Fuck me. All right.
Oh yeah, that was like a weird.
Ugh.
No one knew what Mega Evolution was yet, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just a random new form.
Just a random transformation from Mewtwo.
With all
Yeah.
that said, guys on Twitch, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And the playback will be on the channel probably in the next few days because I got to edit shit. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later. Peace off.
Bye.
Also, the Vista.
Bye.
Good night.
I live in the bag.